Good afternoon, and thank you for joining me for another 5-minute video. In reference to the previous week, we've just had a recent addition to our family, a beautiful baby daughter, and it is for that reason I was not able to post the last week. And going forward, I may have a tighter schedule, so if I do happen to miss some weeks, I hope you can use that time to study further if you are indeed following along with these videos. And remember, they are meant to get your wheels rolling, to help you along, not to substitute for your Bible study. So during those times I may not be able to post a video. Just think of if you need to use the previous videos. Okay, now for this week, I wanted us to do a self-check because I'm trying to do one of those every 5 videos. So what we've been doing with the past few videos, we've been looking at some Bible words. These are words you may have come across maybe in a sermon somewhere, in somebody's lesson, or even in daily conversation, but definitely should come across them when you study your Bible. Now, the reason why it's important to have an understanding of a word, the Bible goes deeper than a lot of us may think, but understanding a single word, I'll give an example just to show that point. Let's take Colossians 1:18, and it reads, "And he's the head of the body, the church, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in all things he might have the preeminence." And that is from the King James Version. Now, we are looking at the word church here, and there's a lot that there's a number of directions we can go from that verse, barring if we are not studying Colossians itself, but just that verse by itself says a lot. So it's calling Christ the head of the body, and it uses the body and the church in the same sense. So essentially the body is the church. So just from that, where you see the Bible referring to a body, for example in Colossians 12, you can consider the church. And if you have an understanding of that, did I say Colossians? 1 Corinthians 12, if I did not say that. Now, if you consider that the church is a body of people or a group of people instead of a building, this will allow you to understand so much more. For example, if we're talking about a body and a head, and Christ is the head, all the decisions come from the head. So, which means in the church, what goes should be what Christ says. And what Christ says we have in the Bible. So this kind of speaks against having a board of directors for a church, and by that I'm talking about if you have a church body, maybe there's one based where you are, there's another one in another city somewhere, there's another one in another country. We should not be looking to a board. All of those different congregations should not be looking to a board, but we should be following the head, which is Christ. Now, somebody may say, okay, but can we not have a board which is following the Bible? Well, the problem with that is we're trying to do what Christ says, and in the directions Christ gives as to the organization of the church, he never calls for there to be a board of directors. And the additional problem is if the entire church is linked to a group of men, then whatever mistakes this board makes are going to affect all the churches. All of them are going to make the same mistake just because it comes from this one body. Now, Christ has given the Bible, so each church, each congregation, and which should be, that is why we say the church should belong to Christ, the church of Christ. So each of those churches should be able to look at the Bible and then they look at the next city over there and say, you know what? That's not what it says here. What you guys are doing is not correct. And in that way, that is how you as an individual will be able to also look at churches, even though they have a particular name, and be able to decide, you know what, things are not going according to how the head says over here. So you see how far we went with just one word. So that is what studying those words can do for you. But of course, it requires sitting down and going through a number of things. Now, if you have any comments or questions, just please post them in the comment section. Otherwise, we will continue with more Bible words. Thank you.